What do you think, Michelle?
About what?
The dress?
It's okay.
You mean you don't like it?
Well, I just thought something a little quieter would be more...
You're not wearing that, pet. It's all right. It's just something Gavin used to say to me every morning.
Someone's energetic.
Well, hello. I was wondering, have you thought any more about the Ratepayers Association? Well, we ought to be doing something, you know. I mean, people get these enormous demands, and they grumble but do nothing about it. And what are we getting for our money? So, what's your decision?
Decision?
I'll tell you what, why don't you come in for a minute? Well, no longer. I'm on my way into town.
You know, Michelle, it seems funny going out to work this late.
Well, that's what your boss said. First day back, he said, tell her to take her time. Get used to the idea slowly.
The complete opposite of Gavin. You know what he'd say? Take the plunge and get it over with.
Roll in when you like. Dave Simpson's very words.
But did you mean halfway through the morning, though?
Might be halfway through the morning to you, big sis. To me, it's the crack of dawn. Anyway, eat your breakfast. Make the most of this waitress service while I'm still living in.
Tell you what, Michelle.
What?
You might get by as a waitress and wash it up. But as a cook...
Are you casting aspirations at my tomato omelette? Oh, come on, Petra. This is the day you go back to work.
I can't.
Don't be daft.
I don't think I can face it.
Come on, you've been doing great up to now.
It seemed such a good idea yesterday.
It still is.
Well, you don't know what it's like. People come up to you, people that you haven't seen for years, and start dripping sympathy all over you.
Oh, they mean well.
And all they do is start the whole thing off again.
But you got to make the effort sometime.
Well, will you come down with me then?
All right. I'll do some shopping in town. After the first day, it'll be fine. You'll be among friends down at the office. And Dave Simpson said if there was anything he could do for you, anything at all, he'd always be there ready.
Yeah, I know.
Well, where are you going now?
I'm just going to change this dress.
I was going to canvass a few more people, but it takes up so much time.
I suppose so. There must be an awful lot of people out at work during the day.
Yes, but it's not just that. I mean, people, when you approach them, they look at you suspiciously and say, what Ratepayers Association?
They probably think it's some sort of a contract.
And then, of course, you have to say, well, actually, there isn't one at the moment, but if you give us a minute of your time...
Oh, I don't think I'd like that bit. Sort of like being an Avon lady, but without any of the commission.
Well, that look... Oh. Yes, well, all we've got to do is to, organise ourselves, elect officers, and give ourselves a title.
Oh, did you have one in mind?
Well, I thought something simple and straightforward like Brookside Ratepayers Association. Well, don't let that intimidate you.
It doesn't.
All it is just a chairman and a secretary. It's the same sort of setup you have in a tennis club.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, perhaps you haven't.
Tennis isn't my racket, as you might say.
Thing is, there's nothing terrifying about committee procedure.
Oh, I know that.
Oh.
Well, I have been on a few committees myself, you know.
Oh, have you? Oh, sort of political, was it?
If you want to call the co-op political.
Oh, that's all right, then. You'd be ideal.
The only thing is, I think rates and taxes sounds a bit boring.
Don't you believe it? It could be great fun. And it is a way of meeting people.
Yeah. What kind of people?
Oh, just ordinary people like ourselves.
I suppose it's a way of passing the time.
Yes. Well, you're bound to miss the companionship you had at work. This could be a real boon. Now is the time. Come and join us.
Okay.
Getting through okay?
Getting sick. You must be joking.
Cracking under the strain, eh?
A kid of 12 could do all this standing on her head.
That's him, you see. Thoughtful and understanding. Breaking you in gently.
I'm bored out of me flaming mind.
Oh, it's easy money, though.
Listen, Jean, money's the least of me worries at the moment. Especially with the insurance. Have you ever thought how boring all this is?
What? Copy typing?
All of it. Insurance policies, company reports, the lot.
Hey, it's a cut above invoice typing at a ball bearing factory.
Is that what you used to do?
I'll have you know, we're the cream of the secretary.
Go away. I mean, what I mean is, there's no initiative required. I mean, we don't exactly have to make decisions, do we?
Oh, I do. Every night at 5 o'clock I say sod the rest. And I make a decision to leave it all till tomorrow.
Dump some of your stuff on me if you like.
I don't think I should, really.
I mean it.
I'll never hear the last of it. I've had strict instructions from him yonder.
What?
Well, Simple Simpson says I've got to keep your workload down and feed you cups of coffee every 5 minutes.
A woman can only take so much, you know.
Oh, he means well, though.
Maybe he does.
Hey, did you notice the suit?
Not especially.
Oh, very sober, very Austin Reed. He's wearing it in your honour.
Don't be daft.
He must be. It's the first time on.
It's amazing what people think they have to do when you've had a bereavement.
Oh, no, they can make it worse. Listen, what I mean is, Petra, if you don't want to talk about it...
There you are. You're doing it. And I was the one that brought the subject up. The stupid thing is, I don't know how I should act either. You should have seen the state I got myself into this morning, just trying to figure out what dress to wear.
Oh, does it matter?
No, I don't suppose it does. You know I went to stay with Anne-Marie after it happened?
Yeah.
Well, when I went back to the house, I knew I'd have to clear all Gavin's stuff out. His clothes and that. A couple of friends of mine, Frank and Barry, come in with me. They were going to do it all while I looked the other way. But when it come to the crunch...
Go on.
Well, I just took one look at it and thought, it's now or never. And walked straight up to the wardrobe and cleared the lot out.
Oh, it must have taken some nerve.
It wasn't so much nerve. More instinct.
Well, instinct tells me I better get back to my work. Pile of claims just come in.
I enjoyed the chat.
To be continued.
If you like.
Hey, I tell you what, I'll change my lunch hour. Should be able to swap with Linda. And how about a nice prawn salad down at the coal market?
Okay. Yeah.
Shouldn't that be an A?
What?
You've got pursuance with an E.
Oh, just as I was breaking the back of it.
You're taking this very seriously? It's not that urgent, is it?
Well, so long as it's ready for tonight.
When is the meeting, by the way?
Well, we thought of having the first meeting here.
Here?
Yes. Later on, we'll have a rota system.
You might have said, Annabelle. What time?
7. Oh, you're not planning on anything, are you?
Oh, not particularly. I thought I might watch Panorama or something.
It's not on tonight.
Still, what about the kids?
Well, Lucy'll be at badminton, and Gordon ought to have finished his homework by then.
Glad you said ought to have. You know, I think he's wasting a lot of his time these days.
Oh, he's growing up. Life starts to be exciting at his age.
Seeing too much of that gossage lad for a start.
We can't keep him under lock and key. We all have to live with the gossages of this world, whether we like it or not.
Some people I prefer to keep at arm's length.
Is that why you're not keen on this ratepayers idea of mine?
I didn't say I wasn't keen.
You haven't exactly been bubbling over about it.
Like to know who I'm dealing with.
Just local people.
That's what worries me. We've always led our own lives, fought our own battles.
Well, I don't see what that's got to do with it.
Well, I wouldn't like personal matters discussed in front of strangers.
You mean neighbours.
People who are not family.
Honestly don't know why you're concerned. Unless it is you're bothered about mixing with different types.
And besides, the danger is, Annabelle, in this neighbourhood. Might get those lefties joining.
We can't exclude anyone for that.
No, you know what I mean. Thing gets political.
And a jolly good thing, too. If we're campaigning for a new bus shelter or a zebra crossing, there's nothing like a bit of politics to get the town hall moving.
Who's going to be the moving force?
Well, I rather thought I might have some say in it.
Oh. In what capacity?
Well, it was my idea, so I thought that if I were chairman...
Ah, sounds fine, dear. I wouldn't take too much for granted. You worked hard on committees before with precious little thanks or reward.
Bad news, Pet.
Go on. You can believe anything.
Well, lunch is off as far as today is concerned.
Is that all?
I was looking forward to a good natter.
Yeah, so was I, really.
Anyway, seems Linda's not turned in.
What's up with her?
She says it's morning sickness.
think it's morning after sickness myself. Anyways, June Morgan's on and you'll notice this for the rest of the day. Is it as bad as some people say?
What?
Morning sickness.
I don't know. Some girls don't seem to have any trouble.
Petra Taylor! Are you trying to tell me something? Well, I should have told you before, really. I'm so bloody mixed up.
Oh, go on. Tell me now.
You know I've been wanting to have kids. 18 months of tests, charts and clinics. Sometimes I give Gavin hell, you know. The things I've said. Well, it's happened, hasn't it?
Is it definite?
Pretty well. I thought when it happened I'd be screaming it out to the world. But now Gavin's not here.
Oh, you don't have to scream, love. Well, you can treat yourself to a bit of a smile.
Look, I don't want you to tell anyone. Not yet.
Whatever you say. Mind you, they'll suss it out soon in this place. Whew, some of the people here. Oh, hey, that reminds me. Now for the bad news. Simpson wants to see you in his office.
No.
Hey, that's what I said. Just looked at me as if I was daft.
Could do without that.
I know.
What do you reckon?
He's trying to make something special out of it. Best suit, quiet word.
Yeah, I suppose I better go and get it over with.
Petra, you got my message?
Jean's just told me
I mean, the one I gave your sister.
about coming back to work.
No one was rushing you, of course.
Well, I'll probably be in for 9 o'clock in the morning.
Play it as it comes.
Look, I don't want anybody talking about privileges.
If anybody doesn't like it, I'll deal with them.
And I'd like something else to be doing.
Well, I thought I'd give you something light, something that wouldn't take it out of you.
I'm not an invalid.
Just trying to look after your interests, though.
I don't think I could type any more of those boring quotes.
All right, we'll put you on to something else.
I think this would be a good time to make a complete change. Do something to keep my mind occupied.
Leave the firm.
If necessary.
I'd think hard about that if I were you.
As I say, this is the time for thinking. And I've done quite a bit of it in the last week or so.
Must have been rotten for you, though. I've thought about you a lot, I really have.
But I'll just carry on as usual for a while.
Hang on. What you were saying about needing a change, well, while you were off, there was another discussion about computers.
Oh yes, more redundancies.
Maybe, but it was proposed that staff at certain branches should be sent on a computer course.
All the A-level girls, I suppose.
Not necessarily. The younger and brighter members of staff. That was the way they put it.
Well, younger and brighter is not how I feel at the moment.
You'll get over it.
Anyway, I don't think I'm a computer person.
You've got more now to the younger kids. I could put your name down on the list if you like.
Well, I'd have to find out more about it.
I've got all the info on it. I could put a word in with Mr. Venables for you.
It's a bit soon to make a decision. What would...
I know, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have swung it at you like that. Tell you what, why don't we relax over a spot of lunch? I'm a good listener when I'm not in the office, honest. I know you don't want a lot of people around. Well, there's this place I've discovered. Quiet and discreet. There must be things you want to talk about.
How many are supposed to be coming?
Well, there'll only be a few here tonight. That was Mrs. Pritchard on the phone just now.
Can't say I know her.
She's not able to come. It doesn't matter, though. The main thing is to get the thing off the ground. It doesn't matter, does it, to you, how many people come? I mean, you're not bothered by it, are you?
As long as it's just the first meeting, I suppose I'll find something to do.
Actually, I think Gordon may be requiring your services tonight.
In what capacity?
The one you like best. Taxi driver?
Oh, do you hear that? As soon as he's back from school, he's messing with that damn synthesizer.
Probably having a last little burst.
Why'd you say that?
Well, Mark wants it back for tonight.
Just for tonight?
Gordon isn't sure.
God, let it be permanent.
Oh, go on. Well, it could have been worse, you know. It could have been a trumpet.
I don't know. I think there's something rather stirring about the sound of the trumpet.
You would.
I remember at Sandhurst, our lives were controlled by the trumpet from Rivali to lights out.
You're living in the past again.
Well, I prefer it to those emasculated electronic squeaks.
Well, that's two people who won't be coming. If Mrs. Pritchard isn't here, I don't suppose her husband will be coming either.
Looks as though you're not going to have a quorum.
Oh, I'm not bothered about a quorum at this stage. Even if there are only two of us, I'm determined to make a start this evening.
Well then, how did it go?
Not so bad, I suppose.
Sure we didn't overburden you?
Like I said, the more work, the better.
Fine, but let me know if it gets too much.
Yes.
Sorry about the lunch. Seemed like a good idea. Perhaps some other time. I respect your feelings, I really do. Did I give you a lift?
I'm meeting my sister.
Nice to have you back, Petra. I mean that.
What do you mean you've already done your homework?
Did it at school. There was a free period in the afternoon.
Must have been a long free period.
Yeah, well, Mr. Gregory had to go to a meeting.
Never heard anything like it. In my day, homework was homework. In other words, work you had to do at home.
I wouldn't be late back.
Haven't said you can go yet.
Well, Mark's got to have his synth for tonight. He's playing a gig.
How old is Mark?
Bit older than me.
And he's playing a gig.
Yeah, at his youth club.
Well, he must have his synthesizer. Why can't he come and pick it up himself?
Well, I felt sort of obliged, you know. I mean, I begged him to lend it to me.
Well, you see what you get for begging. You put yourself at a disadvantage.
Oh, please, Dad. Then I could stay at the club and make my own way home.
You've never been one for clubs. What's the attraction?
Well, Mark said I could sort of sit in with the band.
Sit in. I thought that's what they did on strike.
I'd help take all the gear up on stage and then watch how Mark built up the music. See, Dad, what you do with a synth is, first you put out a layer of sound, right? Then you put out another layer of sound.
All right, Gordon. I've heard enough of your layering over the last few days to put me in the picture.
I wouldn't be laid back. Really.
Well, it might be an opportunity to escape from this meeting of your mother's. And on the other hand...
You are? I'm not kidding. I wasn't trying to get you alone or anything. No. It was more your own, more Sharif bit. It's nice, though. I mean, some bosses would just to let you get on with it. That'd suit me better. But he's considerate. The way he spoke to me about you pleasing yourself what time you came in. Fair enough. But even when Gavin was alive, he kept doing me little favours. You know, little favours that I didn't even want in the first place. Like lunch in a candlelit restaurant. Do you know if his wife happened to ring up when she did? Doesn't he get on with her? No, that's something between him and her. I mean, perhaps he's lonely. Who isn't?
It's very nice of you to have the meeting here. Well, if we get some more members... If? When? That's the spirit. We may be able to hire a room somewhere. And will Mr. Collins help? Oh, yes. He's out somewhere at the moment, taken Gordon to a club. A club? Church youth club. Oh. It's all to do with Gordon's interest in music.
He's a very clever boy, isn't he?
Oh, he's doing quite well.
He seems so nice. Bet you never have any trouble with him, do you?
Oh, you try telling his father that. Excuse me.
Hello. Sorry I'm late, but there was a points failure on the way back from town.
Oh, not to worry. Afraid we're rather a small group tonight.
Oh, is this it?
You mean I'm improving? I mean, I was so hungry I could have eaten anything. You had no lunch? My sarnies? Oh, I'm sorry about that. But the guy that's supposed to be smoothing my path at this sad time wanted to put me right off my food. Are you supposed to be on some special diet or anything? Should I be? Well, I was reading this magazine, Diet Plan for the Expectant Mum. Well, Anne-Marie's had two. What did she used to eat? Spare ribs and custard tarts, mostly. Oh, I don't know. The doctor's given me some vitamin pills. You have to keep on going for checkups, don't you? Then they give you blood tests for anemia or something. And then you have to have all these breathing exercises. Brenda Gibbs from the wool shop was telling me that her mum... Michelle, will you shut up? Oh, I'm sorry, love it. It's just that I'd rather talk about something else. All right. Shall I tell you about the Irishman in the little green hat? Is this a joke? Honest, this man called round this afternoon and asked to see the lady at the house. Great. Well, I told him he was out for the moment. And he said he'd call again.
Well, is that it?
That's it. What do you reckon?
Well, I don't know. We got burglars at number 9.
Oh, we couldn't have been a burglar.
Why?
Because he raised his hat and said he was sorry to disturb me.
I suggest the first thing we do is draw up an agenda for another meeting.
Well, before we do that, haven't we better organise ourselves? I mean, an organisation like this needs a chairman and a secretary to start with.
I think the chairman ought to be a man.
Oh, well, he doesn't have to be. Perhaps I should have said chairperson.
Well, the only title we've got at the minute is housewife. Roger is a solicitor.
Well, not quite.
Well, almost. Young, legally trained. Makes sense.
Well, if he's willing.
I'm sure he is.
I don't mind.
Agreed, then.
All right.
Of course, there'll always be times when it might interfere with my legal work.
Oh, well, if you're not happy.
No, I don't mind. But I will need a good brisk secretary, somebody who doesn't mind dashing about, getting things done.
Well, as it was Mrs. Collins's idea, and she's had a lot of experience on committees, I propose her as secretary.
Well, I suppose someone has to do the donkey work.
Well, that's settled then. I'm sure you can always call on Mrs. Grant whenever you need her. I think she should be on the committee anyway.
Yes, well, we won't be electing the committee until later, but I'm sure you'd like to be on it.
I've nothing else to do at the moment.
Oh, and also, if there's anything you want photocopied, I can always organise that.
Fine. Well, is there anything else anyone would like to discuss in more depth?
Well, yes, there is. Well, it goes back to what I was saying before, really. And houses and roads are all very well, but there's something that's much more important, and that's people. I've got a family, you've got a family, and I'm sure you'll have a family one day. And there's something that I lose sleep over, and that's my kid's future.
Yes, but is that a matter for this sort of meeting?
Well, I think it is, yes. I think we should be plugging for better standards in the school, and then maybe we'd cut down on petty crime and vandalism.
Not as easy as that, Mrs. Grant. No good blaming the educational system. It's the parents you've got to blame.
I'm a parent, but I'm not going to take the blame for every bit of trouble that my kids get into.
Present company accepted. But I've got a lot of time to study this neighbourhood at the moment.
Me too.
And frankly, the example that parents set the children appalls me. Bad language, lack of discipline, scruffy appearance. Some of them not even ready to attempt to find a proper job.
Well, proper jobs are a bit thin on the ground at the moment, wouldn't you say, Mr. Collins?
Well, I think a glass of sherry would be most welcome at this stage of the proceedings. Glasses, Paul.
Then maybe I think we ought to decide what kind of an association this is going to be.